Hi everyone and welcome to Club 4 episode 7 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along and welcome to February of 2032. So we've been through the January transfer window, we've been through the January period of games, and both have gone very well, I would suggest. Unfortunately, in terms of our league form, Liverpool's have gone pretty well too. So we still find ourselves 10 points behind with 12 games to play. So we're in with a possible chance maybe, but it's going to be tricky. But look at Derby County having overtaken Arsenal into third place. There's 9 points gap between us and them, so I think we're pretty safe in second, to be honest. But that's fantastic. My previous club in third, my current club in second. Can one of us, at some point in the next season or two, overhaul Liverpool? It's going to be really hard this season, but we will continue to give it a go. And as I say, results have been very good in January. We had a load of games to play. We went through in the FA Cup against Stoke and then again through in the Cup against Crystal Palace. So that's great. We now get Middlesbrough in the 5th round. We still haven't found out who our Europa League second knockout round opponents are going to be. The first knockout round hasn't taken place yet. I think it takes place fairly soon. But yeah, we don't know what the opponents are going to be for that yet. In terms of our league form, we had a really tricky run and pretty much came through unscathed. If you look at these fixtures, we played Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, all in the January period, but all away from home. And it was quite difficult to get the balance right of how to approach those games. We did really well against Arsenal and Tottenham in 2-1 wins. We got a draw away from home against Chelsea, which I was a little bit disappointed in. It was a flat game, but overall, I think those 3 results were pretty spectacular for where we are in the season and where we had just been with our Leicester City and Man United defeats. So, yeah, all in all, that was a very, very good run through January. You can see that we played 1 game in Stoke and against Stoke in February and absolutely decimated them 4-0, which is fantastic. So, yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how this form has gone. And it has, as I say, knocked off a few of those points that we had to chase down against Liverpool. If we go in and have a look at their schedule through January on in their first team, you can see that, look at this run. It's ridiculous. They've hardly lost a game this season. In fact, yeah, they've only lost against us earlier in the season. And most recently, the reason we're now 10 points behind and not 13 is because they surprisingly lost to Leeds. Will that be a bit of a blip? Well, let's hope so. They've got Barcelona to play in their Champions League knockout. They've still got Chelsea to play. And we come at the end of the season for them, of course. So hopefully it just takes the momentum away from them a little bit. But they are utterly relentless. It's absolutely mad. And to get back at them, I think, is going to be really, really difficult. But we'll see what we can do. So we got knocked out in the Carabao Cup by Arsenal in the quarter-final. We're still in the FA Cup against Middlesbrough. We've gone through in the Europa League, waiting for our next round draw. And we sit second in the Premier League, 10 points behind Liverpool, same games played. So that's what we've got to try and overhaul in the rest of this season. And we have made 2 changes to the squad in January and spent an awful lot of money to do it. Now, the 2 that we got rid of, let's go and have a look and quickly have a look at them. In the transfer history, if we go down to this point, the 2 that we got rid of were primarily Helber, the goalkeeper, which I just didn't think he was any good. He was playing okay, but he made some mistakes. And he never filled me with confidence. And I just didn't think he was any good. So he was the first one that I got out, along with Univar. Now, Univar we spoke about a lot in the first half of the season. And I said in the last episode he was likely to leave. He's a really great player. He's gone to PSG. And I'm sure over time he's going to figure himself out and do well for them, probably. But just for me, I could not get a decent performance out of him. Leading up to me joining the club, you can see he was consistent. He was doing okay. He never lit the place up necessarily, but This season, 18 games, or it was probably like 14 games or whatever it was since before he moved. Oh no, it was 18. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. 18 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 6.72 rating for a 28-year-old international player for Holland. It wasn't good enough. I couldn't get a tune out of him, so he had to move on, and we got 31 million for him. Okay, fine. That's neither here nor there with Man City. We can afford to do what we want to do, really. And we got 24.5 million for Helber. If we go and have a look at him, you can see he's a reasonable goalkeeper, but it's slightly skewed by this huge, great big green number making you think, wow, there's an amazing goalkeeper in there. But it's his eccentricity, and it just made him too gung-ho. And he would charge all over the place and do random things and come out for balls that he shouldn't. And it just got him into trouble. And the rest of his attributes are decent, but they're not spectacular. So I needed to find a better replacement for him, and I think I really did. So first off, let's look at the Univar replacement, and the Univar replacement came from the Premier League, from a player that I spotted was playing Leicester City. Now, he didn't light the place up for us, but what he did do was demonstrate he had some qualities about him, and this is Ulysses. And he comes in from Leicester. He's a Brazilian-born player. And he might not be the complete player. There might be some gaps here and there. But the things that I really love about him are he's got pace and acceleration to burn. He's got a good first touch. He's got good crossing, reasonable long shots and finishing, good composure. Good passing and technique, and off the ball is fantastic as well. Decisions are high up there. This is a good player. This is a strong player. At the age of 20, we absolutely had to pay over the odds for him, and it was obscene how much money we had to pay for these two players in the end. But we are at Man City, and we can do it, and we need to do it because Liverpool are so far ahead of us at the moment. We needed to change that and bring some quality in a couple of key positions that weren't quite performing for us. So the thing that made me go for him is this. His career stats, playing off the left wing for Leicester City, you can see that in the last couple of seasons, he got 13 goals last season from the left wing and 9 assists. This season, 11 goals after 18 matches for them, and he's already got 2 in 2 playing for Man City for us. But we did pay a huge 120 million in instalments, some of it. But we did have to pay over the odds for him. He was the one player that when I looked around for this position that I really thought that's the guy that I wanted. And we got him in, which is fantastic. But you can see that we also spent 120 million, utterly mad, for our new goalkeeper. And the reason that we bought a new goalkeeper for 120 million was 1, Helber wasn't very good. And 2, this guy was Barcelona's with a release clause. He was amazing. This is a great goalkeeper, I think. At the age of 28, bit of experience in there, which is fantastic. Wages actually not that bad, considering some of my squad are on, 350 plus. This is a really good goalkeeper. Lacks leadership, absolutely, but in terms of his goalkeeping attributes are fantastic. He's got some decent mental ones in a couple of key areas, which is really useful, and his physicals for a goalkeeper are very good. So I'm really happy with this guy. We absolutely paid a fortune for him. I am aware of that totally, but so far I think he's doing okay. He hasn't lit the place up, but that's what happens in goalkeepers for human-led teams. It feels like in Football Manager, getting a goalkeeper over the 7-point-something average rating is nigh on impossible at times, but he's come in okay. We had some tricky games. All of those away games that I spoke to you about, he played through. So he's played through some really hard stuff. Hopefully, as February can't get my words out there at all, goes through, we'll play some slightly easier games after today maybe, and he'll settle in and show that he's a really good goalkeeper. But I'm very happy with that we've made 2 really good upgrades to our squad. So that was 2 out, 2 in, a couple of other youngsters left, etc. But that's fine. And we still have perfectly good finances. And if we go into the financial situation, you can see that we're still going to be passing the financial fair play stuff, etc. Because Man City are just broken in terms of their finances. We are absolutely loaded. It's just the way it is. So, really good run of form. As I've previously shown you, going through January, we now sit on the 21st of February, and we've got Manchester United away from home. This run of form against the big teams away from home continues. One more to play against Manchester United. Then the run-in, we have Derby, our old team that will come back and play at some point, and we have Liverpool to end the season away from home again. So we've still got a couple more to play, but in between that we've got some good fixtures, I think, for a run-in for the Premier League. So today is Man United. If we go and have a look at the competition page again, you'll see that they're sitting well off the pace in 9th, and they've just changed their manager. Solskjaer got sacked and they brought the new guy in. Who did they bring in? Nagelsmann. Yeah, Nagelsmann. So he came in instead for Solskjaer, which is, it'll be interesting to see what he does. It's literally just happened in the last couple of weeks, I think. So figuring out what they're going to be like under him is going to be quite tricky. But yeah, they're sitting in 9th, and that's a bit odd for them. We'll have to see how we get on. But I'm quietly confident that even away from home against an underperforming side like that, we can do okay. If we go and check out the team page, you can see that everybody's pretty fit and healthy, but they haven't been. This is another reason why January was so magnificent getting through it, because we hardly had a left back for most of it. Both Cruz and Cooper were out for 80%, 90% of the January stuff, and we had to play Richard Jackson at left back instead, who can just about do it, but he's only fairly young and inexperienced, and he's there primarily in the squad because of his homegrown nature. But he did okay for us. I have no complaints about that. He did pretty well. But now Cooper and Cruz are both back, which is fantastic, and back to fitness, and so are a couple of other people that we had out. And we get our new guys in as well. So Ulysses only played 2 games for us in January, not because he didn't come in early, because he did, but he then went off and played an international tournament under 23s that I was unaware that he was going to before I signed him. So he then spent a fair bit of January not with us. So he's back in the fold again, which is fantastic. And hopefully that will help us move forward and keep the pressure as much as we can on Liverpool. And Foden is the other one. I knew there was another one that's just come back from his long-term sort of 3 or 4 week layoff. Again, McCann did very well, but he's not Phil Foden, and so bringing him back into the setup is going to be good. So we're pretty much full strength now. We've got Ortega that's got a bit of a knock and isn't on the bench today, but other than that, we're pretty full strength. And so Greg Gray at the moment is losing out to Romario in the first 11. Has done through a little bit of January as well. He was just a little bit dipped below his form, Greg Gray, and when Romario came in, he did pretty well. So yeah, that's where we've been through the last few weeks of the game. It was quite an interesting period to go through, and now we have to just keep the pressure up. So this is what we're going to try and do. Away from home, we're going to go. We've been using the asymmetric formation occasionally away from home against the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, etc. But for today, I'm not going to do that. This is a Man United side that are a bit beaten up, and we're going to try and keep doing that to them, and we're going to go the full bore at them and see if we can get a result through doing that. So all of that means, well done for getting through it if you did, all of that means that today's team for the game against Manchester United away from home is going to be Romero in goal, Rivero and Romario, lots of Rimiros, Romarios, etc. But Rivero and Romario in central defence, with Magnoni at right back, Cruz at left back, Camavinga, Malt and Foden in central midfield, Alart on the right, Ulysses on the left and Vasic up top, with a bench of Gray, Cooper, Victor, McCann, Villegas, Cesar and Gibbons. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So in the Manchester derby, we are favourites for a reason. Go out there and show them why. That's the team talk I've used. Put the onus on the players to perform well. They've been on a really good run, but we have to keep it going against the arch nemesis of Manchester United. So it has to work for us today. Let's see if we can put in a good performance and see if the new guys can shine maybe. A good cross in. It gets partially cleared by United. They come away with the ball and attack us very quickly down the left-hand side for them. Our right full-back doesn't get back, and somehow he slotted it in at the near post. And a really unimpressive start for our brand new goalkeeper on the first episode that he shows up in. Rue on the left hand side gets right in the area and then squeezes it in at the near post, and the goalkeeper just stands there and watches it. Yeah, 120 million well spent. Absolutely. Oh, for goodness sake. He's been doing fine, I promise you. Up until this point, I haven't had any complaints about him. But that is not good, is it? And they go 1-1. And for whatever reason, they're frustrated by the team talk that's just been given to the United players. So they're in a bit of disarray over that. But we've got some anxiety and some nerves. So we're going to have to change that. So we're going to shout and demand more from them for the last sort of 10 minutes of this first half and see if we can go in at half time, maybe with an equaliser. So it's Rivero. We've picked up the ball off a corner kick that didn't quite work out for us, puts it into Foden. Foden takes his time to get the cross in. Eventually, the cross does come in and Vasic heads it over the top. That's unfortunate, isn't it? It was a reasonably good position to have a header at, but he just didn't quite get his angles right. And we do go in at half-time 1-0 down. We've had reasonable amount of the play, good amount of chances created. United have been kept to a minimum, but they had their one chance and they took it. And that's really disappointing. We need to find a way to get back at them. So we're going to go aggressive at them and say, come on, lads, show a bit of desire. And chuck them straight back out again. No reason to change anybody health-wise at the moment. You can see that Man U are suffering a little bit through that. We're fully fit and raring to go in theory. So we're going to have to up it. And we're going to go very attacking at them. And again, we're going to show to push forward, to shout to push forward. And just see if we can find anything from this match. It's drifting away from us. So we're going to stop it there, cancel that, stop the game, and go into the tactics. Having had so much time in the second half where no highlights have happened at all. We're obviously not doing a good enough job. Where are the problems? Malt and Foden. Central midfield is the problem, it looks like. And we are going to have to change that. So Victor comes in. We'll change Victor and Camavinga. Camavinga can play in that slightly attacked, sort of more attacking midfield role from central midfield. And that's not what I want to do at all. It's McCann comes in for Foden. I'm so bothered by this. This is ridiculous. This is the second episode in a row where it feels like they've gone on a great run of form and then all of a sudden just put the brakes on and gone, oh, well, we can't do it today, so we won't bother. So annoying. We've got to find a way to get something out of this game. And the last one we're going to change is bring Gibbons on for Vasic, who's not performing up the top as well. Those are the changes we're going to make. We're going to chuck them in there, continue to play the high-pressing, high-impact game, and just see if we can find a way to get a chance out of this match. But it's United on the ball with a free kick middle of the pitch and they've lost it, and Gibbons gets a great chance to charge into the box. Riser challenge, gets to the goalkeeper's second attempt, and the goalkeeper pulls off a fantastic double save. We maintain possession to the far post. Ulysses picks up the ball, drops it back to Cruz, and we get a chance to rebuild again. But what a fantastic double save that was by the Man United goalkeeper. And there's another chance from Gibbons, and again the goalkeeper collects it with no problem at all. And it's so annoying, so frustrating. That should have been a goal on the second of the double attempt from Gibbons, but the goalkeeper was magnificent. Again, they get through for us on our goal, but this time the goalkeeper, Romero, holds on to the ball and demonstrates that he can actually do a good job there. Not what he did against the first goal, was it? It looks like we're going to lose out here, which is really frustrating. We've been very toothless today and very, very, overawed by the game, it felt like. and we lose 1-0 to a United side that have been struggling, and we've been on such good form. I'm getting a reputation for myself for being a really positive, upbeat football manager. I don't know if I can do that today. Oh, you saw the results that we got away from home against the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham. We were on a really good run, and we desperately needed to keep our pressure on Liverpool, and we haven't been able to do it. And that's the double loss against Manchester United this season in both Manchester derbies. You were not good enough today. That's not good enough. It's not what I expect. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. What's that done? What's Liverpool done in that particular moment? Have they played yet? They haven't played yet. We've played an early game on the Saturday, so they've still got to play their game. Again, they could go 13 points clear. And again, we have to have the same conversation where at the beginning of the episode, it's potentially there for us to squeeze a bit of pressure on them. And then we don't do it. And even the likes of Derby and Arsenal can close in on us again now with another 3 points if they both win their games. And it's not good enough. And this is what we were trying to counteract by bringing in a couple of really good players. What do you do? What do you say? That's the frustration of football management. There you go. I am frustrated by it. I really am. We're on such a good run, and it should have gone better than that today. But it hasn't. And so we have to pick ourselves up again and go back into these fixtures that are coming. There's some good fixtures for us in the Premier League here. There's a lot of beatable teams to keep a good amount of points on the table. We've got that FA Cup game against Middlesbrough as well to go through. And then we've got the Europa League that really we have to think about winning. I don't think we're going to win this Premier League. I really don't. And we need to win something. I think the Europa League is the one we have to put all of our eggs into the basket for. We'll continue to put everything that we can in the Premier League and see whether we can push at Liverpool as much as possible. But we have to win this Europa League. So that being said, let's focus. Let's think about this. The next game that we're going to come back for is that Europa League second knockout round. The second leg, should I say. And we're going to see who we get and see where we're at by that game and see if we can go through in that and continue a drive towards that title. Because if we could win the Europa League at the end of the season and maybe get to the FA Cup final as well, it's not a bad season for the first season. It's just whether the board appreciate the fact that Liverpool were just a really tough egg to crack, or whether they get frustrated by the fact we didn't win the Premier League when they wanted us to. That's for another day though. For today, I will have to get over my frustrations. I'm so cross, it's ridiculous. I will have to get over it, move forward. We get Palace, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, Southampton, Leeds, all to come. Good beatable games. So we're going to go and do that. We're going to go and absolutely try our very best to win every single one of those games and continue to rise up the points total as much as we can. But that's going to do it for today. Really disappointing. I think we've got some really good players in. I'm really happy with those two, but they're going to just take a little time to bed in and settle and find their feet a little bit. But the rest of the team should be performing better. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. It's usually a lot more upbeat than this, but there we go. Click that like button for me if you could on this particular episode. Even though we got beaten, even though it was frustration, then we've still got to keep moving the channel forward, and it helps me get seen by loads of other people. I just want to switch it off and go away for now. Anyway, I'm going to do that. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.